Let's be honest about something. We all use Google Forms. You've used it, I've used it, your aunt used it to run the office Secret Santa, and there's a good reason for that. It's free. It's already sitting there in your Google account, and it lets you collect basically unlimited responses without ever asking for your credit card. For a quick poll or a sign-up sheet, it just works. What if you need something more? Today, I want to show you what happens when you outgrow Google Forms. And the tool we're looking at is called forms.app. Let me show you why people are making the switch. The whole appeal of Google Forms is that it's generous. Unlimited responses, unlimited forms, all free. And the fear is that the second you go to a real form builder, you're gonna get nickel and dimed on every submission. Here's the good news. With forms.app, you can build forms and invite your whole team in without the classic per seat tax that so many tools love to charge. You bring your teammates into the workspace, you organize everything into clean folders, and you're working together instead of emailing a spreadsheet back and forth like it's 2009. So right out the gate, you're not giving up the team-friendly, no-wallet-required feeling that made Google Forms comfortable in the first place. Okay, but generosity is not the reason you switch. You switch because of what the form can actually do. So let's get into the good stuff. Google Forms gives you a handful of question types: multiple choice, short answer, drop-down, the classics. Forms.app gives you more than 30 different form fields. And these aren't just decorations. These are the fields that unlock entire use cases Google Forms simply cannot touch. Let me give you the three big ones. First, payments. With Forms.app, you can actually collect money directly inside the form. You connect a processor like Stripe or PayPal, and now your form is a checkout. Think about that. Event registration with a ticket fee, an order form for your small business, paid booking, donations for your cause. In Google Forms, you'd have to bolt on some clunky third-party workaround and pray. Here, it's just a field you drag in. Plus, you get another dedicated field for listing your products. Second, signatures. Forms.app has a built-in e-signature field. So if you need someone to sign a contract, a consent form, a waiver, a permission slip, they just sign it right there on the form. No printing, no scanning, no, can you sign this and send it back as a PDF? It's native, and on a tool like Google Forms, it flat out does not exist. Third, and this one is underrated, multilingual forms. If your audience speaks more than one language. Forms.app lets you present the same form in different languages so people can answer in whatever language they're comfortable with. If you've ever tried to run an international survey through Google Forms, you know it basically forces everyone into one language and hopes for the best. And on top of those three, you've got the toolbox that makes forms feel smart instead of static. Conditional logic. So the form changes based on what someone answers, showing and hiding questions on the fly. Product listing for order forms, where you add images, descriptions, prices, and let people add things to a basket. File uploads, calculator fields, save as draft so people can come back later and finish later. This is the stuff that turns a form from a glorified questionnaire into an actual tool that does a job. Now let's talk about the part you can literally see, the look. This for me is the most obvious upgrade. Google Forms has one personality. You've seen it 1,000 times and so has everyone you send it to. It works, but it feels like a form. Forms.app lets you escape that completely with proper themes, custom design, the whole thing. So your form actually matches you instead of matching Google. But here's the feature that genuinely changes the experience, and it's the one I want to remember. Forms.app gives you two completely different ways for people to fill out your form. There's list view, which is the classic layout you already know. All the questions laid out on a page, scroll down, fill it in, done. Great when people just want to power through it. And then there's step view. This is the modern conversational style, where the form shows one question at a time. You answer, it slides to the next one. You answer that, and so on. Feels less like filling out paperwork and more like having a friendly little back and forth. And this isn't just about looking nice. That one question at a time flow is known to keep people engaged and actually reduce the number of people who quit halfway through. So you're not just getting a prettier form, but a form where people will actually finish. The fact that you can flip between boring but efficient list view and sleek conversational step view in the same tool, depending on what the moment calls for, that's a level of control Google Forms just does not give you. All right. You've built a beautiful form. People are filling it out. Now what? This is where a lot of free tools leave you sort of stranded. And it's where Forms.app quietly pulls ahead. With Google Forms, your data lands in a spreadsheet. That's mostly the end of the conversation. You get a couple of basic charts and you're on your own. Forms.app treats your results like something worth actually understanding. You get a clean inbox of responses so you can read submissions one by one like messages instead of squinting at row 487 of a spreadsheet. You get statistics that visualize your results automatically, and then you get the two features I think are the real difference makers. One is drop-off analysis. This tells you where people are abandoning your form. Was it question 3? Was it the part where you asked for a phone number? Now you know exactly where the friction is. So you can fix the leak instead of guessing why nobody's finishing. The other is partial responses. Even if someone doesn't hit submit, you can still capture what they filled in before they left. In Google Forms, an unfinished form is just gone, vanished. You get nothing. Here, that half-finished answer is still data you can use. For anyone doing lead generation, that is genuinely huge. So let's bring it all home. Verdict time. Is Google Forms bad? Well, not exactly. If all you need is a quick internal poll, a simple RSVP, or a no-stakes survey, and you're already living inside Google, then honestly Google Forms is fine. It's free, it's familiar, and it does that simple job perfectly well. But the moment your forms start doing real work, the moment they need to take a payment, collect a signature, look like a brand, speak more than one language, or tell you why people are dropping off, Google Forms runs out of road fast. And that's exactly the gap forms.app was built to fill. You keep the things you loved about Google Forms, team-friendly, easy, no barrier feeling, and you add everything you always wished it could do. Real design, real features, real analytics. More than 30 fields, payment, signatures, conditional logic, that gorgeous conversational step view, and analytics that actually tell you something. If forms are part of how you run your business, your events, your community, your work, then forms.app is the upgrade that finally makes them feel like they're working for you instead of the other way around. Go try it, build something, and see the difference for yourself. I think the moment you see your first form in step view, you're not going to want to go back. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.